friends, alumni, and most importantly, the fierce class of 2026. My name is Kristabel Kenta-Bibi, a proud senior BFA musical theater major with double minors in political science and performing arts management and entrepreneurship. So yes, Sleep and I have been in a long-distance relationship these past 4 years. Thank you to the SMTD graduation committee for this incredible honor. My younger self will not believe this moment. If there's one thing you should know about me is that I love nostalgia. Standing before you today, I am overwhelmed by the tableaus that brought me here. The rehearsals, the breakthroughs, the late nights, and the matcha lattes that somehow became a personality trait for me. But when I think about what truly brought us to this auditorium and what kept us here, it wasn't just discipline, talent, or caffeine. It was the belief in something like a fairy tale. Not the glass slipper kind, but the idea that life can be outstanding, and that we, as artists, can be the heroes of our own stories. And like any good fairy tale, our time at SMTD hasn't been without its trials. We faced rejection, comparison, uncomfortable growth, and 8 a.m. classes that felt like their own villain origin story. However, in the midst of all this, there's something I learned here, specifically in senior acting, with Professor Vincent Cardinal, that might be helpful to all of us. He introduced us to a philosophy from American actress Stella Adler, that imagination is the driving force behind powerful storytelling, and that we must dare to imagine beyond our current reality to create something extraordinary. To guide us, he gave us Adler's 7 essential questions for building a character. Who are you? Where are you? What do you want? How do you go about getting it? How do you react when you do or don't get what you want? Who are you talking to? And how do you want to make that person feel? While these questions are rooted in acting, they apply just as deeply to our lives as artists. So let's start with question 1. Who are you? Yes, a question that holds the same amount of ambiguity as tell me about yourself. Both phrases have the undenying capability to strike fear in every first date and job interview known to man. Although I don't know everyone in this room, I do know that we have a diverse group of composers, dramaturgs, set designers, sound engineers, costume designers, dancers, actors, vocalists, producers, and so much more. Speaking in I statements, I am a proud first-generation African-American artist. I know I'm not the only first-generation artist in this room, so I want to uplift all the first-generation graduates here this afternoon. As the daughter of 2 immigrant parents who have sacrificed so much to get me to where I am today, I carry their story with me in everything I do. Their journey reminds me that the stories we inherit are not small. They are bold and deeply human. They are stories of movement, of reinvention, of claiming space when that space is not freely given. And I want to say this, especially as we step out into a world beyond this auditorium, people like my parents, people like so many of our families and communities do not stand outside of this nation's story. They are essential to it. They are not interruptions. They are not threats. They are builders, caretakers, innovators, and dreamers who shape the very fabric of this country every single day. Because they have already given so much. And as artists, it's our responsibility to remember that. To tell truthful stories, to create spaces where people are fully seen, and to imagine a world where belonging is recognized, not earned. Because we can't fully share who we are without them. So thank you to all the parents and families who made this moment possible. Can you believe that was only the first question?
Talk that talk.
Question 2, where are you? Now this one feels easier at first, right? Because technically we're in the Hill Auditorium in Ann Arbor, Michigan, wearing robes that make us look like slightly exhausted wizards. But as artists, we know where is never just physical. Where are you in your story? Are you at the beginning, full of possibility but unsure of the path? Are you in the middle where the conflict thickens and the plot twists feel personal? Are you at a threshold, like where we are now, standing at the edge of everything we worked for and everything we don't yet understand? Because the truth is, today is simply a scene change. Some of us are leaving SMTV, a place that gave us a rehearsal room to fail in, and we're all stepping into a world with no stage manager calling our cues. And that can feel terrifying. But every fairy tale hero has a moment where they must leave what is known. The woods are dark and the map unclear, and still they go. So where are we? We are exactly where we need to be, in the magic of uncertainty. 3, what do you want? Not what your resume says you should want. What do you actually want? Do you want to be on Broadway? To choreograph stories that move people to tears? Do you want to create work that challenges systems? To build spaces where others feel seen? Or maybe your want is quieter, but just as powerful. To live a life where your art and joy can coexist. The fairy tales we grew up with made wanting look simple. But here's what we've learned. Wanting is vulnerable. Because the moment you name what you want, you also risk not getting it. And yet every great story is driven by desire. So I challenge all of us to be boldly specific. Because if you don't know what you want, how will your story know where to take you? 4, how do you go about getting it? This is where the montage would usually start. Cue the training sequence, the auditions, the callbacks, the thank you so much will be in touch emails that never actually follow up. If SMTV has taught us anything, it's that getting what you want is really glamorous. It looks like discipline, but it also looks like collaboration. Because none of us got here alone. We learned how to listen and adapt. In fairy tales, the hero always has help, like a fairy godmother or a talking animal sidekick. In our story, that help looks like the people sitting next to you. Let us not forget that we have a great family of alumni who are making change with their artistry in the real world. So how do we go about getting what we want? As we work, we continue to lean against each other. Question 5, what happens if you do or don't get what you want? This might be the scariest question of all because we've been taught to measure success in very specific ways. Whether that means producing a record or composing a symphony, and yes, they are all worth celebrating. But what happens when it doesn't go that way? Are you still the hero of your story? The answer is yes. Because fairy tales were never about everything going perfectly. They were about transformation, encouraging you to reimagine. So whether the ending looks like what you dreamed of or not, your story is still unfolding. Which leads me to question 6, who are you talking to? As performers, we ask this all the time. But beyond the stage, the question becomes, who is your art for? Are you speaking to the communities that raised you? The younger version of yourself who needed someone to say you belong here? Because art is not created in a vacuum. It is a conversation. Every time you step on stage, design a set, compose a piece, choreograph a dance, you're reaching out and saying, I see you. Do you see me too? So be intentional. Know your audience, duh, of course, but more importantly, know your purpose. Because the most powerful stories are not the loudest ones. They are the ones that make someone feel understood. And finally, how do you want to make them feel? Do you want to inspire wonder to spark joy, to challenge, to disrupt, to heal, to educate. Think about the moments that made you fall in love with art in the first place. That is the power we carry, not just to entertain, but to remind people of their own humanity. And that, my fellow graduates, that is the closest thing to magic we have. Miss Adler said it best, the spark has to be kept alive. So as we step beyond this chapter, I want to leave us with the same sense of wonder that first made us believe this path was possible. The same feeling we had as children, looking up and imagining something bigger for ourselves. Despite how uncanny the story of Pinocchio is, my boy Jiminy Cricket was spitting bars when he said, "When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come to you. If your heart is in your dream, no request is too extreme." And we know that now, as we are living proof of when heart meets discipline and when imagination meets action. So class of 2026, I ask you to keep wishing, because like a bolt out of the blue, life will keep surprising you. However, as long as you stay true to who you are and the magic that brought you here in the first place, your dreams won't just come true, but you will create them. Don't forget to take care of yourself and your inner child in the process. You both are deserving of a happily ever after. Thank you, and go blue forever and always.